Hello. Welcome to CareerLink in the virtual world because we haven't really been able to meet in person. I hope everyone had a good long weekend. I still don't see any freezing rain. I'm not going to lie. So we're just going to push forward. I feel like I'm waking up in Groundhog Day. You know, every day I feel like I'm going to go to work and then I don't. Except that I'm not Bill Murray, but I do really like Bill Murray's work. Anyway, so we're going to talk about how we can prepare for the rest of our course. So tomorrow we go to Blount Manufacturing, and I'm just really in communication with our site visits and our speakers. So we're all kind of like, you know, we're anticipating we'll move ahead as scheduled, and if there's another weather disruption, we'll, you know, just play it by ear. So as of right now, we're planning to go to Blount tomorrow. Blount is a really good site. I'm really hoping we can get our final site visit because it appeals to both manufacturing and tech. They have quite a few open positions in both sectors. So I would encourage you to go to their website, Blount International, BLOUNT.com, and check out their listings. So we'll be there for about 2 hours tomorrow from 1:30 to 3:30. We'll come to class at 9 a.m. in the morning and hopefully have a lovely check-in with each other in person. And then we'll have Jordana Gustafson-Wright from Code Fellows coming to speak about boot camp coding style training. And then we'll have a clinician from Cascadia Behavioral Health coming tomorrow to talk about services offered in the grant. And then we'll talk about how we're all getting to Blount. We'll talk about the roads, like, are the roads okay? And do people feel okay driving there? You know, and we'll just troubleshoot this whole mess. And then hopefully everything works out and we get there at 1:30 and we meet with their team members and ask HR questions. And then we take a tour wrapping at 3:30. And if you need to leave early, just let me know because it's past our normal 3 o'clock deadline. And then Thursday, we have a guest speaker from OED on manufacturing. He's David Duncan's counterpart, so kind of like the tech version of the manufacturing version of everything David Duncan was telling us. And then we will be having our mock interviews. And then our team presentations on Friday. So I want to focus a little bit on mock interviews today because we were supposed to be preparing for them today and we're not there. So this is something you can do at home. So we're going to kind of do this lesson virtually. I decided to just send out a video rather than trying to do a WebEx or something like that. I'm not sure what time everybody would be available to meet. So what I'll do is we'll do this on video, and if you have questions, you can email me, and we'll do it that way. So I think prior to the first day of course, when we had our first snow day, I had you brainstorm a list of professional accomplishments. So I had you do that exercise because we were going to use it in class today. So we are going to be working on crafting answers for behavioral interview questions that are to be used on Thursday in our mock interview. And I really just want to prepare that we would have class on Thursday because the meteorologists say that it's supposed to melt by Thursday. So let's just be prepared. Okay, so what is behavioral-based interviewing? There's a very fun worksheet in tab 9 about this. I'll just read the first top blurb. Behavioral interviewing is a standardized method of interviewing designed to measure how you will perform on the job. The principle behind this technique is the belief that the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior. So they might often be questions that start with, tell me about a time that you had a problem meeting a deadline. Tell me about a time you worked and contributed to a teamwork setting in a project. Describe a time when you had a conflict with a supervisor. That's the one I always seem to get. So they are these questions, and they're wanting to see what your past behavior was, and they will take that into consideration of how you will operate when you're on the job in their company as well. So it's best to have some answers crafted and prepared beforehand, so you're not coming up with it on the spot. We're often having physiological body reactions when we are in an interview setting because it's stressful. So my body might be going into flight or fight mode. My nervous system is having a physiological reaction. Therefore, it is going to be that much more difficult for me to come up with answers on the spot than if I have already taken the time to brainstorm some of the highlights of my career, write these highlights out in story form, and then share them in an articulate manner in the interview. It's kind of a tall order I'm putting on myself to do all that on the spot in the interview. Oftentimes, these behavioral interview questions will be really similar, moving from company to company, so you can prepare beforehand if you know some common ones that are asked. And even my answer for conflict with the supervisor could be the same answer as time that I worked as part of a team, because they are both going to surround a situation when I was in a team setting. Okay. So I would encourage you to, so this is kind of the step-by-step process which we're going to do, okay? So number one, if you haven't done so already, brainstorm a list of your professional accomplishments. Like I said, brainstorms can be, there's no wrong answer in a brainstorm. If it pops into your head, put it down. We often don't track this for ourselves. It's like, I don't know, I worked there and everybody liked me. What was the problem? So this will take some time to really go back into the recesses of your memory and think about this. So give yourself some time to do this. I know the first time I ever did this, it was really hard. And I was mad that nobody told me I was supposed to be taking note of these earlier in my career. But let's start now. So once you do that, let's read through the behavioral interview materials that are in tab 9. Okay, so start with this worksheet that says, what is behavioral interviewing? Okay, so now you have your list of accomplishments. You've read your what is behavioral interviewing. What are we going to do next? We are going to learn about the STAR method of answering questions. I don't know if any of you have ever heard about this method. I'm sure some of you have. A great supplement to this whole video experience, if you can't come to February Career Link or March Career Link, or even if you do, you should still go to this workshop, is the interviewing workshop at WorkSource. It's a 3-hour workshop where you can make up all the material you're losing, you know, all the material that I'm giving to you on this video. I would implore you to go to the workshop. It's the interviewing workshop from WorkSource, and that is where you can have a more thorough workshop about behavioral interviewing, okay? So, STAR interviewing stands for and I found my worksheet. Okay, so STAR interviewing stands for situation, task, action, and result. You set up the situation and the task that was asked for you, and then you proceed to explain the action that you took, maybe to resolve the situation, and focus on the result. We will often talk about, this was the situation, and then this is what I did, and we don't talk about what the result was. that was bettering the organization? What did we do to better the organization? We remember things in stories. Oftentimes, stories have been used for generations and generations to pass down information. Stories are used to invoke imageries in other people's heads. And it's good to use the same mentality when we're going into an interview situation. They're going to interview many, many candidates throughout the day. And how are they going to remember me? How am I going to stand out? And a really great way to stand out is by telling a really great story, a memorable story with details, conjuring up images in their heads. So they'll remember, that's the person that, that happened to. So let's kind of do an example.